But now it's 3 minutes past, and I don't see any more entering. So perhaps we'll now there's some people joining in still. So okay, but I'll just say a few introduction and then hand over to our president, Dick Powells from Hansa University of Applied Science, as the president of the STARS EU Alliance. But just to inform you before we start up this talk, the format is 60 minutes tops, and we will have a presenter, and after the presenter there will be possibilities of questions and answers and comments and discussion, but up to 60 minutes. And this is recorded, so everybody are aware that this is being recorded and distributed afterwards, so you are people can view you. If you're not agree upon that, and you need to switch off the video, and you could still see that you're here. So I would advise you to leave the meeting if you're not accept that you will be present in the meeting. But then again, it's most focus on the presenter. But I would like to hand over the word and scene to our president, Dick Powells, as the president of the Alliance, as I said. Please, Dick, some introduction words to this talk.
Yes, well, Gunnar, thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining this STARS talk, STARS EU talk. I think a very pleasant way to have the discussions within the STARS EU Alliance on how to collaborate and how to make progress into our collaboration, into the goals we are aiming for in joining the 9 partners together in the STARS EU program. And it's also very important, I think, that we're not only discussing in the STARS talks issues on science and on education and the development of that, but I think it's also very important to discuss it from a perspective of the students. And I think the talk of today, the talk of the town, you could say perhaps even, is about what's in it for the students, the STARS EU. And I think it's very important to have a student board in place within the STARS EU, because that student board gives advices also to the commission of the STARS EU and the steering committee. And one of the representatives of that student board is Jula Eichhorn, and I think she will take us into her view and the view of the student board on the development of STARS EU. Julia, I think the word is to you, Gunnar, eh? Yeah.
Hey, thank you, Dick, for that introduction. I have a presentation prepared, which I will share right now. Can everybody see the first slides? Okay.
Yes.
But you can't see my notes, right?
No.
Okay. Welcome everybody. I'm glad to see you all here, hopefully also some students, but I believe yes. And thanks also, Gunnar, for asking me to have this talk about this crucial question within the European University Project. What are the benefits for students? What's in for students? And it is a crucial question because essentially the concept of our alliance, and I believe also of other alliances in Europe, is to upgrade our universities, our partners, in favor of the skill profiles of our students in respect of all the social challenges we are facing in the world, and also in respect of the transitions that need to happen in our regions based on these challenges. So I think one could reply to that question with a very long list of potentials or potential benefits. But today I would like to focus on some aspects that I see that are already in place in STARS EU, or at least inside that STARS EU students can profit from. So today I would talk to you about more options that students can gain in terms of teaching and learning through STARS-EU. I would also look at research and how it works in our favor, because I think there might be some perceptions of students that research is in a way more decoupled from their own studies and study life. And I can also talk to you about my own experiences that I made, from my personal perspective as ambassador, and how I benefited from that. And in the end, we have hopefully some time to discuss also about how and why student involvement is kind of a important aspect, also that these benefits can actually be facilitated. So maybe shortly about me. I'm Jula. I am associated with STARS-EU in some way, I believe, since November 2002. And I am the president of the STARS-EU student board since April 23, round about that time. And I am a 9th semester student in the Bachelor program Political Management at Hochschule Bremen. And of course, I am also a student ambassador as my function as a student board member. And we are right now, I think, 24 members in the student board across all partners. And here in the bottom right, you can see us just a few weeks ago at the work and review meeting of STARS-EU we had at Hochschule Bremen, where we discussed all the advances that we made in all the single work package and thematic interest work groups and work packages. And you can also see me at the first European Student Ambassadors Forum edition at Warsaw School of Economics that was held in September in Warsaw, where representatives from different student boards from different alliances across Europe came together to discuss their function. And I would actually also like to just briefly put today's topic in the official context that was forged by the European Commission. So I have a quote here from the European Commission's website, which says, "In our interconnected world, addressing global challenges requires a collective effort. It is a shared responsibility to enable current and future generations to acquire future-proof skills for their own and Europe's benefit." And I guess that very much links to what I said in the beginning about the goals of STARS-EU. So we can see that STARS-EU is immediately linked to the highest level of European education strategy and policy. And on the website, it also says about European Universities Alliances specifically that they should improve the international competitiveness of higher education institutions in Europe. So I think here it becomes pretty clear how university alliances play a role for students, because they are the largest target, or well, the largest status group as well in our universities, and they are the ones that carry that competitiveness onwards in the long term, as they are the ones that are being educated mostly. Yes, so first of all about the added value of more options of learning and teaching that STARS-EU students can gain. So first of all, they can study at one of the 9 or several of the 9 partner universities that we have, be it for one Erasmus semester or also other options that are in parts still developed, such as course units, joint courses, or other flexible mobility solutions that are yet to be developed, but the good news is that they can and they should be developed, since the STARS EU is now an approved European university project and the funds and deliverables are there. We have the Product and Process Innovation Master Program that is going to be implemented by several partners, which is currently under accreditation. And our most used, I would say, flexible and innovative format for international education would be the blended intensive programs that have a short-term mobility component, which STARS EU has implemented, I think, quite many times since 2022. Just to mention a few of them, there was the Startup BIP, the Pedagogical Innovation BIP, which is targeting teachers, but of course that is still relevant also for students, and students can profit from their teachers knowing about pedagogical innovation. Circular bioeconomy, cybersecurity, emotional education, smart grids. So yeah, various fields are covered here. And I would also like to mention teaching and learning communities that are right now being conceptualized by our work package 3, the curriculum lab. Because in my view, the teaching and learning communities are going to be kind of the underlying infrastructure that makes our alliance actually to be on a daily basis in our institutions, apart from lecturing and research. And that is a space for co-creation, essentially, which is the main aim of these learning and teaching communities. And that means that education takes place in a more collaborative manner, so that professors, for example, use new educational techniques that ensures student-centeredness and also the recognition of individual students. And the research also shows us that such a framework for exchange on learning and teaching practices is likely to improve the overall learning and teaching situation in our universities and improve job satisfaction, commitment of all learners and teachers. And I think that has great potential. And I think it's also easy to achieve small successes here once we just start talking to each other in the alliance and start learning from each other. Now I would talk a little more about research activities in the alliance. For research, we have the so-called thematic interest groups. They are our knowledge-creating teams. And I think it's important to mention here that the research activities that actually take place, they're not just randomly chosen, but they're based on stakeholder consultation. So that means that our knowledge-creating teams, they actually identify stakeholders that face challenges that STARS EU could support them on, or that STARS EU would like to collaborate on, because they can also profit from that work. And the TICs are also the ones that design and implement the course offers of STARS EU. So the result, from my point of view, is challenge-based learning, or challenge-based education, because whatever is being fed into our course offers is based on real-world needs, real-world challenges. And our TICs, they are also the ones that coordinate innovation and entrepreneurship support infrastructures for our universities, but also for local stakeholders. So they don't only do research, but they always ensure that there are infrastructures in place for exploiting that research in a productive, innovative manner in favor of the competitiveness of our universities, our regions, and so, of course, also of our students. And I also have a practical example for such challenge-based learning that students might be interested in, maybe also a few of you who are here now. And that is the Future Lab Camp, Planet Intensive program that is coordinated by our partner, Krakow University of Technology. And it has a physical component from the end of February to beginning of March, and a virtual component until mid-June 25. And in that BIP, there will be student groups working on challenges that are being set up by a Polish municipality, a stakeholder. And that challenge will revolve around architectural and urban concepts for that municipality. And I believe that the Polish students working on that challenge in that BIP were already identified, and now their group leaders are determining the needs and skills that are needed from other students that should still come on board, and those other students will come from STARS EU partners. So in case you're maybe in a study program that is linked to urban concepts or architecture, you might find that opportunity interesting, and you might reach out to your study coordinator if he or she knows or is aware about that BIP. And in general, the setting of a future lab, I think, could be a unique experience for work-based technology development and innovation. And what I believe is very convenient is also that for that particular BIP, at least, it's not required that a perfect solution is being found throughout the process, but it's just mainly about the process. So I think it's valuable that this kind of space for innovation is created for students. And now I would like to talk a little bit about my personal experiences. What I believe the benefits are, particularly from the perspective of being part of the STARS EU student board. And I think for me personally, the biggest benefit I gained so far was basically to get a new and also more positive idea of universities nowadays and what they are investing in having a social impact, and how many dimensions are kind of running together to make academic education more applicable to the real world, and to make it also a mean of empowerment of students, of course, because they are also kind of bound to the regions they're studying in, because it might be most likely that they're staying there for their first positions afterwards. And yeah, well, STARS EU has the goal to make academic education more applicable. So I think that's something that really shaped my perspective on what role universities actually play for our society. And then on the more practical side, I think I was definitely able to strengthen my English skills, because most of the communication is going in English. I gained some more confidence in public speaking and transferring my ideas about how students should be involved in that whole project. I also gained some confidence in collaborating with people of different ages and professional backgrounds and cultural backgrounds, because I was kind of networking with many people in the alliance, and sometimes they were in quite high position, and it was still no problem to work together. And I think that was a very valuable experience for me. And of course, I was also able to create my personal network in a way to expand it across different countries and different institutions. And also, I could improve my networking and organizing skills. I wouldn't maybe call it project management, because I'm not sure if that term really fits what I did, but certainly it was a lot of work to find out who is responsible for what and whom I can contact on certain questions I had or the student board had. And yeah, it was sometimes a very dynamic bottom-up process, like it is in these kind of startup frameworks that sometimes exist in these very innovative projects. But yeah, so I think those are the most important aspects. Oh, of course, I also came to see new places and cultures. I joined 2 annual conferences that were held in Tenerife and in Besançon, where also those 2 pictures originate from, and that was, of course, a very valuable experience as well, to have these travel opportunities. Yeah. Yeah. And in the end, I came up with some discussion questions as well. Yeah, but of course, if you have questions regarding my presentation or my experience, that's of course also fine. And here I also briefly have my contact details. I also put there a link on a initiative from the communication department, I think from my university, where I'm answering 3 questions about my experience and my function in the alliance. And yeah, that's it already from my side.
Thank you very much, Jula. Very interesting, and a lot of your insights and thoughts about what and how do students benefit. But it was very good that you are already prepared questions. So perhaps if you want to start up from that one, or your any questions here. So do you want to should we comment or to have? Yes, please, Rima.
I would like to thank you, Jula, for her hard work, because Jula last couple of years she was leading the student board, and in the beginning it was not easy to get everybody on board, and a lot of work was done by Jula, and also she did a great work involving all students. So thank you very much for that. And perhaps I would like to ask you what kind of advice you would give to next chairman of a board, what kind of challenges he or she will face and how to overcome them. So kind of your testimony to a next generation board?
Okay, good question. I think first of all, what I think would be the starting point is to know about the project and to know about its idea and to know about what I also mentioned at the beginning, like the official initiative of the European Commission, and to understand that linkage about well, between students and that project. And then on like the operative level, I think in whatever university you're studying as the chairperson, you should, I think, try to kind of keep an eye on the activities in the alliance to understand what they're doing, because nobody will come and report on whatever is done. So I think you kind of need to do that yourself, because from there you get an idea of what Stars EU means practically, and step by step you can get ideas on how whatever the curriculum lab is doing is something that where the student board needs to say a perspective or implement a project, or well, know about a potential project that could happen in the future. Yeah. And I think it's also important to stay connected on a local level, to have some colleagues you can talk to face and kind of talk on a more regular basis as yeah.
Thank you very much. Very good advice.
Yes, we have more questions. Elana, you had a question or a remark to Jula or to this discussion, please.
Yes, thank you, Gunnar. For some reason, my video isn't working. Sorry about that. Jula, thank you very much for your presentation. And I also really appreciate that you have these questions that are open for discussion, particularly the third one, the challenges of student involvement, the sense of ownership towards the Alliance. I think that that's something that we're realizing is growing. And I appreciate the statement that you make of it's a bit of a combination. It's a bit of involving students in their localities, but also helping them to get a helicopter view of where they are within Europe, within this university alliance, and really presenting the possibilities to them. And I think that, yeah, the communication team that we're working with, the student board, I think that we're working towards that. And via Zoom, it's a little bit difficult this way to start a discussion about it. But I'm curious about if we can come up with initiatives in the future like this, like a STARS talk, but that we can engage students in this discussion of why a European focus is important for them, why these possibilities are important for them. Based on your experiences as the president and maybe the ideas that you've come up with in the last little while, what is something also that you can give to us to maybe organize, to coordinate, to make it easier for students to become enthusiastic and involved in STARS EU?
Yes, do you have any thoughts or comments on that, Jula?
So Ilana, do you mean towards the alliance in general, or the communication particularly?
I think to the alliance in general, because yeah, the initiatives that are going on. You have a very relevant student focus. You're finalizing your studies, you see the benefits that it brings to it. And maybe I guess the question specifically is, what is something that you missed in the last year that would make it easier to engage fellow students?
I think what I missed might be a more collaborative work between the student board and other working schemes, other work packages, whatever in the alliance, exactly about the question how the activities that are happening in the alliance right now are profiting students. So kind of that knowledge transfer between student board and other parts of the alliance who do a lot of work, and they probably do it also in favor of students, but that part where it is being where the exchange is happening about that question, yeah, I think that's something I missed, because it kind of it would empower the student board more, I think, to step outside and talk about the alliance and its benefits and its services. So I think maybe it is like a broader awareness of everyone in the alliance that yeah, students should know more, basically.
All right. Thank you, Jula.
Okay, any other or questions? I have several, so I could start up and then we continue. I was thinking about the theme or the title of your talk, the presentation, and what's in it for me, or what's in it for the students. And I really do like the think about the stories behind. So could you please reflect a little bit, Jula, on how did you hear about this STARS EU Alliance and the EUI project, and what did it and how, in which way were you interested? How did you feel that this is something that's important and something that you wanted to do?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I remember that Heike Tauerschmidt, who used to be coordinator at my university for STARS EU, approached our student union, where I was participating in at that time. And all I could take from her input was that it is about universities collaborating, and it's international, and it's about international education and supporting each other. And I don't really know why I sticked to that, but I think it was that I never really looked at education from a inter-university, inter-institutional perspective. And it seemed to me like a very interesting level of collaboration that I never see in my daily student life. And also that I was, of course, kind of interested in international study offers and had a brief idea of what that I could profit from that. But honestly, then only with time, I came to understand more that it's actually worth it to be on board. But that was only because I really stick to it, and yeah. In the beginning, it was not that clear.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, Jula. It's interesting because I know that the students face a different perspective than us, regardless teachers, researchers, staff, or others who are involved in the alliance and working in different, because you're you're not in this for a longer period of time. You have the period of studies, and this is it could affect and it should affect the content and the quality, and you get new opportunities and such. But what could make the extra mile, doing the effort of actually involving yourself into such a project, which is normally extracurricular for many of the students. But as you pinpointed in your presentation, you could see that it's beneficial. You get new competences, you get new networks and so on. But I know that many of the partners still have that, how to attract the students and make them see the possibilities. So you pointed at several of those, but I know that there's quite a lot of other students participating in the session as well. So I would like to open up if there are more comments and thoughts about how have they reflected and why have they made the effort to be involved in student activities in the Alliance. Anybody else that could or would like to say or comment? Because you made a very nice and interesting presentation, Jula, and shared this. But the stories are very interesting, of course. Yes, Rima, please.
Yeah, I just liked very much also what Gunnar said, that you shared your personal perspective, what Stars EU gave to you, what you benefited. Perhaps you can also tell a little bit more about European Students' General Assembly, where you participated, because we just ranked students' applications for the next year. So as Alliance, we mostly likely to support 5 students, but now we did the 10 students ranking. So what was your experience participating in Warsaw?
So Warsaw, it was not the European Student Assembly, but the European Student Ambassadors Forum, which was specifically designed for student representatives from European alliances. And my experiences were very positive, I would say, because I could really tell that we're facing similar issues, and at the same time we are having an idea of why the Alliance is a great project and a very long-term thought project in favor of students. But then that on the practical level, we all have difficulties to make the student board or make the Alliance a community that students are really part of. So it was just great to have that kind of physical space to talk about just that. And what is also great is that the EU Voices project that was organizing also that event is writing a report about the results of that event, the USEF, where it's also addressing what students mentioned, what challenges they're facing, and also good practices, how to overcome them, and needs or recommendations. And that will be sent to all the alliances. So I think that will be a good resource for them also to have it really written on paper, what is all over the alliance, what is the situation of student boards. So, yeah.
Thank you. So it was great experience. You think it's worth to promote it?
It's always worth to exchange among students. Yeah.
Good. Thank you, Jula.
Yes. Any other thoughts, comments? Yeah. If not, you lifted the question about the extra involvement or the added to be more integrated students into the tasks and the work in structures in the TIGs and so on. Do you have any thoughts or suggestions on how to actually get applicants or get interested, how to expand this, how to raise the interest to be part of the activities from students? What should we do to get more student involvements in the activities?
Yeah, good question. I think it's about really many aspects that should come together. So from individual networking, so imagine you're part of a work package and you're lecturing at the same time, that you keep informing your students about what you're doing and that you encourage them to also join in a way that is possible. I don't know in which way exactly, but and also communicating it on a more meant for the general public. So I was thinking, for example, the Stars EU talks we're having, they could maybe be broken down to more regular format, so that people from work packages or just from regular Stars EU staff, that they could have such a talk on a more regular basis, to make Stars EU more present, more accessible, and visible also in the universities. Yeah, and also, of course, I think we should be better at promoting our study offers. So many semesters passed without me seeing any advertising of the BIPs in my university, at least. So yeah, and then also the student board, of course, they should think of a story that they can tell on social media, TikTok preferably. I think that's a good idea as well, to make it less abstract and more with approach it with more, I don't know, humor or easy language. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jula. It was really interesting that we actually are looking into. We have been evaluating the STAR talks, and there's a proposal we're discussing on how to spread and widen it into the seminar series, being more often and in more connected to webinars and seminars being run by the partners and so on. So it's straight up the alley what you are proposing. If this is going to be the way forward or not, I know, but it's very similar to the proposal that's been made by us who's looked into the future format of the talk. So it's yeah, nice and interesting to hear. And also that you're reflecting based on that you've been involved for a couple of years, but it's very much been that these first, I would say it's been the toughest ones for the students, based on that in the beginning we were not funded, we were applicants. Then when we got funded for a project as an alliance, and the first year is very much about collecting and preparing and reap the harvest of the BIBs and activities that will affect the students will come in the future, because there's a lot of proposals of new collaborations, new BIPs, new study programs, joint degrees and such. And that will take based on the lagging for developing things, and so it will be you are preparing for the future students more than you could actually see the full benefits of your work as a comment at this time. But it's still it's very, very important. It's vital that you and other students are engaged and involved and participants and driving us forward, and the students' point of view. So we get the input, we get the involvement, we got the connection and understanding of how students think and what they want in this work and collaboration forward. Okay, any other comments or questions? There's still some minutes left. If anybody else would like to say or comment anything. I don't know, Dick, would you like to comment what you've seen and heard today?
Yes, well, thank you, Gunnar, and also Jula. I think what I liked a lot is what you said, Jula, is not only about new opportunities in education, you could say, different types of education and research, which all individual partners are adding to their programs, but also that it helped you a lot in the development of you as a person, and getting more and different experience than you would have had if you were just a student at one of our partners, in your case, Hochschule Bremen. And I think that's also, in my opinion, the important part of being active in an international environment, international consortia, that you're not only learning about your educational program or in your educational program or in the research, but you are very much also learning about how it is to collaborate in an international context, learn about that and learn also about yourself by doing that and develop yourself. So I think that was, for me, a very important message. And yes, of course, what we are aiming for is also in broadening the educational programs as being a partnership altogether, and broadening our research, that it will help certainly also for our offers to our students and our communities, our regions. But especially that personal development part, that is what, for me, is a very important element in this total collaboration. Thank you very much for sharing that with us, Jula.
Yes, thank you very much, Dick, and thank you very much, Jula. If there are no other further comments, I would like to round it up by saying it's been immensely interesting and a very nice presentation, Jula. Very nice to hear about your points of view, your experiences, and that you were able to do this. I hope that it will inspire more and other students, and at least I will bring your points of view with me, and we try to involve this in what we are doing and how to progress and develop the alliance and the offerings, and how we involve students, and how students in a better way are being integrated into everything that we do. This was the last of the STARS talk for the autumn semester of 2024. We will continue in the spring as it will be the same format in the middle of the month, in January 15th, which is a Wednesday, at 1 o'clock Central European time. We will have the next STARS talk, and on that occasion it will be on inclusion and social justice. We have a thematic interest group on that area that hasn't been presenting on what they are planning and what they are thinking and what that content of that. It's a very important issue for everyone on how we look upon inclusion in different groups and how we in Europe integrate and how we find that people are getting the right, the different rights which they are entitled to, and how we think and how we act and do this in a better way. So it's Dorina Gipali from University Alexandre Moustro in Durrës that will hold a presentation on Wednesday, the 15th of January at 1 o'clock. I hope that you have been participating today will join in for that one as well, and see you in January. If I don't see you before that, I will wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I'll think and hope that we'll develop and continue our integration and collaboration. I'm eager and looking forward to that. And once again, thank you very, very much, Jula, for this nice presentation today.